In about 2012, this is sort of chronological here, in 2012 the governor made the statement that he wanted us to work on regulations that would minimize methane emissions from oil and gas operations to the greatest extent possible. Prior to that time, we had received funding from the state legislature to purchase IR infrared FLIR cameras. So we spent the first year looking at, sort of training ourselves, looking at the medium and smaller operations, training those operators on where we saw most emissions, leaks. And because of that information, we knew that storage tanks were a primary contributor to emissions of whatever, hydrocarbons, VOCs, methane, and that basically leaks, valves, etc., were a source of emissions. We really kind of zeroed in on storage tanks and then on leak detection and repair kind of regulations. So those are sort of the two areas that we focused on. Ultimately, what the regulation does is focus on those two areas. We have storage tank regulations that, depending on the size of the actual annual emissions, the number of instrument inspections varies depending on what the size of the emissions are that comes out. The more emissions you have, the more frequent the inspections are. There is a requirement for storage tanks, I think greater than 6 tons a year, to develop a storage tank emission management plan, which is a plan that will describe how the operator plans to meet a no venting requirement, operations with no venting. Storage tanks, it's basically operating with a 98 or 95% efficiency, again, depending on sort of the variables of the particular operations. On leak detection and repair, again, it's based upon the size of the operation, the quantity of emissions that are emitted on an annual basis will dictate how frequently the inspections are to occur. The instrument inspections, there are ongoing inspections that are required, olfactory, visual, and oral inspections.
Which is just simply 5 senses.
Going out and looking and smelling and listening. And if you see something, if you smell something, then fix it. But again, depending on the size of the operation, you still have to go out and do some kind of instrument inspection.